Speak to Mehmet Celik, the editorial coordinator of the Daily Sabah newspaper. He joins us from here in Istanbul. Mehmet, welcome to the program. What do you think the foreign reaction is going to be to the TCG Anadolu?
Well, the foreign reaction can be assessed from, I think, three different aspects. First of all, first aspect would be the rising defense capabilities of Turkey. And what I mean by this is not just militarily, but in terms of economic aspects of defense industry. Turkey has been localizing and domestically producing its defense needs up to nearly 60, 70, 80% now. So this is, of course, will get a reaction from previously providers of Turkey's defense industry. So from defense industry aspect, yes, this means that Turkey will produce its own aircrafts or warships or other defense needs or defense equipment. This means that this money spent, billions of money spent on defense will stay at home. The second aspect, I think, from abroad will be in terms of Turkey's military power. Now, Turkey is facing a lot of threats in its region, so it has to bolster its defense capabilities militarily, and naval is a huge part of this. Now, Turkey has bolstered its defense capabilities with drones, with newly developing, now it's developing its aircrafts, unmanned fighter jets. So from this perspective, it's also going to draw some attraction or some attention. I think thirdly, Turkey is becoming a very strong power regionally, in addition to being a key military power as part of NATO. And this means that it can use actually its own military power or military might as a stabilizer in a region where stability is very fragile at times. So be it in its north when it comes to, surrounding region, or be it in south, particularly given the fact that we have, two relatively failed states being Syria and Iraq, and threats coming from those regions. But in addition to all these military or defense capabilities or defense related power, I think Turkey's military and defense muscle can also be used as a humanitarian or peacemaking. It can be used as a peacemaking muscle through some interventions in the relatively unstable or conflict zones, as well as a key NATO ally and key NATO military power. So the new warship is a reflection of this power increasing this influence in several areas, not just in terms of defense industry economically or in technical terms, but this is also a reflection of rising political influence, rising military influence, not just to protect its own borders, but to make sure that it can intervene as a stabilizer, be it in the region it is in, or be it in the international conflicts where Turkey's powers will be needed as a NATO ally.
Yeah, do you want to expand a little bit more on the political implications of this? And I imagine that they're as important domestically, those implications, again, as they are internationally. When you think of the competing claims that countries that border the Aegean and the Mediterranean seas, how they might be reacting to this as well. I mean, you're quite right to point out the different capacities and capabilities that this kind of hardware might give Turkey, but the reaction abroad might be different to what it is here. But politically, can you give us a little bit more on that?
Well, I mean, if just as you mentioned, if you look at the Aegean or the Eastern Mediterranean, I think this power of Turkey is present there. It's very influential in the region. And now some countries in the region are in an arm race with Turkey. If we were to call some names like Greeks, for example, I think a huge when Turkey takes these steps, military or defense industry steps to bolster its capabilities, Greece is one of the first countries that makes comments. But the Greece is it shouldn't use this as a point of conflict, but rather as a point of regional cooperation, and it should accept Turkey's capabilities and shouldn't be in an arm race to compete with Turkey militarily. Because I mean, it is one thing to accept the neighbor's power and try to seek ways to cooperate, but it's in the other to put away this huge divergence in terms of power and try to compete with Turkey, for example, in this region. Greece, I think, will make some comments. Some other countries may also third party countries maybe trigger some reaction from Greece or push Greece to make some comments. But I think this should be, as particularly in the post earthquake this normalization period, or at least now that there is some communication channels between Turkey and Greece, I think this shouldn't push Greece to make such comments, but rather this should be used as a moment where both countries can come together on the same table and use this cooperation channel and establish some sort of stability in the region rather than an arm race. Of course, Greece and some other European countries will pay attention to Turkey's move in the defense industry, but this is a new reality for Turkey. Turkey is no longer a country that relies on defense industry, heavily. Now it produces its major products domestically. This is a new reality that not just Greece and other regional countries should accept, but also internationally. Turkey is in a new place which international powers should acknowledge and should re-evaluate their relation with Turkey and establish new equations to how to deal with this rising power regionally or internationally. This is not going to be something that will stop. This is from what we can see in terms of investment in the defense industry. This is something that's going to increase. I mean, look at the fighter jets, the unmanned fighter jet Kızıl Elma. Look at the drone industry. Look at the helicopters that Turkey is producing. This is not something that the old Turkey, 2 decades ago, this is not something that was in talks. But now there's a new reality that needs to be accepted, be it regionally or internationally, when it comes to Turkey's defense capability that affects ultimately to its political influence.
Really interesting, Mehmet. So lots of recalculations possibly taking place around the world. Thanks so much indeed, Mehmet Celik.